Hey there, thanks for joining today's webinar, which is No Churn November. For those of you that don't know me, I am Justin, the founder and CEO of Merchant, and over the last 5 years, I have helped over 500 digital agency owners grow their agencies by helping them get more clients or optimizing their operations. So I live and breathe agency efficiencies. The purpose of this webinar is to help agency owners get ahead of holiday churn, because based on what our data shows, the churn this year is going to be worse than usual. And I'm usually a huge fan of growing by growing, not growing by defending. So I like focusing really on sales initiative, but I think this year it's really worth focusing on just building better relationships with your clients and giving them as much value as quickly as possible, so that they are less likely to cancel come the end of the year. And so the way I see it is there is a tidal wave making its way towards agencies over the holidays, and there are currently 24 days until Thanksgiving, which is when I think this tidal wave is going to hit. So please follow along in this webinar and do the things that I'm mentioning as soon as possible to protect as many of your clients as possible, so you can hit 2026 in a strong position, not just trying to win back all of your old clients. Okay, and what I want to do is show some data that I think supports why I feel like churn is going to be particularly bad this year. So if we look at the historic data for churn this year, and what I'm showing you here, the numbers in green, the first number is the net new dollars followed by 1. So what this is saying is that for every $1 that was lost by an agency this year in terms of client spend, $2.4 was gained, right? So that is like a positive month, because for every dollar lost, they got an extra $2.40. And this data is collected by tracking over 500 agencies and how they're performing. So January was strong as expected, but then February was only $1.50 per every dollar, so slower growth there. March, again, we broke that 2 threshold, so $2 gained for every $1 lost. April, very strong. In fact, April, I think, was the strongest month of this year in terms of growth versus contraction for agencies. And then May, we had a slower month, meaning for every dollar lost, we didn't get $2 back. June jumped up. But then, as you guys probably experienced, July, August was very bad, right? The summer months are usually pretty high churn for digital agencies, and this year was no exception. And when we usually expect to see a pullback, or rather a bounce back from summer lulls in September, we actually didn't cross that 2-to-1 threshold. October got a little bit worse, so we still haven't seen that rebound. And now we're in November and December, which are still questionable, right? So we're going to see how these months unfold. But given we didn't have that after summer bump back to at least a 2-to-1, I'm concerned that this holiday season is going to be very bad for agencies. And if we want to look at this in a different way, we can see January started very high, February came down, which is pretty common after you have a very high month as an agency, because when you sell more clients than you're used to, it's usually very difficult to make them all happy because you don't have the systems in place to handle that at scale. So just keep that in mind in January, that you need to fulfill everything you promised as soon as possible, or else you might lose some of those clients in February. And then March, again, bounced back up. April was still okay. And then in the summer, it started to decline, and we really haven't rebounded to a Q1 or Q2 performance yet this year, which is concerning. So let me talk about why the holidays are typically bad for churn. And because I think it's important to understand why this November, December range is usually when clients churn. And it has to do a lot with the psychology around running a local business, which is typically what makes up your clients. There's a couple different things. One is the end of the year budget cuts. Like you're a business owner, you're probably reviewing your budget for next year, and you're already trying to cut some fat where you think that you don't need to keep spending. Also, some businesses just aren't popular in winter months, and so it doesn't really make sense to be advertising in their mind, and so they'll cut the spend. So, I mean, we're going to talk about ways that you can rebut all of this, but that's one of those easy ones where you just remind them, hey, SEO takes months to start working. You can't just turn it on and off. The next is that business owners, for these very small owner-operated businesses, like that a lot of you work with, so home service providers, the business owner goes on vacation in December, and they can't do jobs. So why are they spending money on marketing? So again, educating them that this isn't like it's not ads where you can turn it on and off, right? SEO needs to be consistently done. And also people just kind of reevaluate their budgets and their goals around the end of the year. And they might think it's time for a change and they want to start fresh in January. And so maybe they get ahead of that and they cut your services in November and December. So there's a couple of different reasons why business owners will churn in the holidays, near the end of the year. And you're going to need to understand those so that you can address them head on. Okay. Now, what I want to do is walk through 3 resources that I put together for this webinar that are also shared with you and will be in the video description below. This is what we call a holiday churn survival guide. And the first of the resources that I want to go over with you is all around how we look at retention. And we call it the 2025 Holiday Client Retention Playbook. But you can actually use this year round. It's just that we have 23 and a half days before the holidays start for you to get these in place. So looking at this holiday retention playbook, I'm not going to go through all of these one by one because we're sharing the full docs with you, which I personally created. I spent a lot of time putting this together because I really want you to be successful, because as an agency partner of ours, we are truly only successful if you are. That's why we're also working on a new dashboard for you that will hopefully be live by the end of the first week of November, which can give you an estimated churn risk percentage and tell you why we think that client is likely to churn, so you can focus on them first to make sure that you get ahead of that. Okay, so the first thing that we want to talk about is the phases of the churn book. The first is tuning up. And that means you are making sure that everything on their Google profile or whatever campaign you're offering is perfect, right? You don't want to give them any reason to doubt that you're paying attention to them. The next thing is strengthening. So that's adding more value without raising prices. And if you're a page partner, then that should be easy because we're constantly giving you more features, and I doubt you are regularly giving them to your clients. So we're going to talk about the biggest ones that you can give them. And the next one is going to be to strategize. And by that, it's strategize on how you're going to keep them excited about the future and want to keep working with you. And then how you're going to adjust their campaign to be even better next year so that they don't even doubt you. Okay, so let's talk about the tune-up one first. If you're using Page, what you should do is go over to your businesses, click on View Details for one of your clients, and then say See Optimizations. This section here is going to tell you all of the features that you haven't turned on for Page, as well as the ways that your client was not participating. So for example, they're not getting reviews. The reviews don't have keywords, which means they're not using our review link. They haven't provided us images in a while, right? It's been 3 days since they've uploaded one and we're now empty. You haven't connected their Facebook or their Instagram. You don't have an offer on their profile. You're not sending videos to Google or YouTube. And so this is just a really good way to understand what you haven't done for them yet. And what I want you to do in this phase is think about which of these do you want to give them for free today or give them for free in January as something that you're going to do to increase the value next year so you get them to stay with you past the holiday bump. Or which of these do you just want to use as an upsell? And whenever we're talking about retention, the best thing you can do is just give it to them. So I would decide if you want to give it to them today and have them build some affinity towards you, or tease it as a feature you're going to add in the future, or split it 50-50. Okay, the next thing you should do is scroll down here and make sure that you did a great job already, making sure all the services have descriptions, there's enough services, and Google deletes them all the time. So go through this and re-onboard this business basically with all the optimizations and take note of all the things that you're changing, right? Because what you're going to want to do is relay that back to your client. Like, hey, by the way, I found these issues on your profile and I fixed them, right? That way they know you're proactively paying attention to them. You didn't forget about them. Make sure that you took the time to add their social profile links and their texting number, which most of you did not do this. It's a huge, important feature. Definitely go ahead and do it. Let your clients know that you're automatically flagging all their bad reviews with Google to be against Google's terms. That's something that our team does for you. and so on. So just make your way through this, tune up that profile, and take note of everything you did and what they need to do better, because you're going to need to relay that to them for this whole thing to be effective. Okay, the next thing is strengthen. So the items that you didn't just turn on and say, whoops, I never got their Facebook link, but I already told them I'm doing this. Figure out what items you can give them for free that we're giving you for free, so that you can strengthen the value that you're offering to them. Because you want them to think that you're already doing a great job for what they're paying you, and then you want to make them feel like you're giving them even more value than what they knew they were able to get for whatever you're charging them. That's one of the reasons why we're constantly putting out more features, because we want you to constantly provide more and more value to your customers. And we don't charge for them because we want you to just give them to your clients, because it's going to help them rank better, which keeps them longer on our mutual service. Okay. Some other ideas of what you can do to strengthen are send them a free NFC review card. If you didn't know that, it only costs you $10. It'll arrive pre-programmed to them, to their page review link in a white envelope that can't be traced back to us in any way. Just takes a second to do. You can also let them know that you're now tracking their AI visibility. So over on the reports, definitely let them know on their next report that you're going to do an audit for the keywords to show if they were ranking on these AI platforms, and if so, what position. And the reason that's very important is because that's a service that they're probably starting to wonder, like, do I need to be focusing on Google Maps, or should I be focusing on ChatGPT? And now you're able to tell them, hey, I proactively started monitoring you on these platforms, and I have a plan to help you rank on AI, which we're going to talk about in a little bit. You can also look at the AI or the citations add-on, which is something that can also help with AI. Okay. The next thing that we've recently put out is the BCC review link. So basically, you can now automatically ask your customers, or your clients can now automatically ask their customers for a review, wait a little bit, and then ask them again if they didn't leave one. So these are all like strengthening things that should make it easier for them to get more reviews and just improve their results, that will make them see that you're investing in their success, right? You didn't sell them on one thing then walk away. You stayed on top of the latest and greatest, and you kept giving them more and more value. Now let's get into phase 3. And by the way, I go into full detail on all of these items in this document. So, that's why I'm going through it fast. Take the time to read through this and think about what you want to offer. Okay, the next thing is strategize. So personalize and plan ahead. Once you've optimized their profile, what you now need to do is basically resell them on the service, because they might have fully forgotten why this is important, right? So there's a blurb in this guide that talks about, why it's important. So resell them on this blurb. Show them success stories. So if you didn't know, one great way to keep existing clients is show them other successes that you've been able to get. And if you have them, phenomenal. Share them with your clients. And if not, and you're an agency that's in our partner program, we can actually give you a white label case study widget to put on your website that has hundreds of examples that you can walk through with your clients. Then you want them to start touching and engaging with the tools more. So make sure that they knew that they can actually customize all of the, or a lot of the tools inside the dashboard. So for example, ask them if they prefer their review link to be the stars, or the thumbs up, thumbs down, or the emojis, and let them decide, what aesthetic do they want to give their customers, because it is ultimately their brand, right? This matters to them. So ask them which one they prefer. You can also customize the wording of every single piece of text here, right? So if they prefer to say, how was your time at Rizzi's Burgers, or, they don't want to say anything, you can customize this fully. So just get them involved, make them know that you're adapting to what they want. You can also fine tune the content preferences. So if you go over to businesses, you can ask them, hey, by the way, do you have any feedback on how the posts sound? Do you want me to write in a more like serious or casual way? Do you have a preference on how I'm replying to your reviews? Do you want me to change anything up. And the really cool thing about AI is that you can give your clients that one-to-one level of personalization without it taking any more time or effort for you, right? They ask you something, you just put it into Paige as a note for whatever it might be, and then Paige will follow it to a T. You can even personalize the style. So don't be afraid to ask your clients how they feel about the content, because it's not difficult for you to actually customize it all for them. You can also teach them some tricks around the review link so they know that this is a pretty cool tool you gave them. So if you didn't know, you can actually have Paige inject their employees' names in reviews. So if we do rep equals Josh, you can also add services. So I'll say service equals, table cleaning. When I go to leave this review, the suggested review can talk about Josh and the quick table cleaning service, blah, blah, blah. So you can inject things in these suggested reviews. And one popular way that you can use this is by just putting in the rep's name and having each employee have their own review link if it's like a home service business, and they'll send that to their customer, and then the business owner can reward someone whenever their name appears in a review. That's very common in home services, and this is a very easy way for you to help your client implement that. Okay. The next thing is preview next year's campaign ideas. So, based on what you decided, so which of these things are you going to turn on for them immediately versus in a month or two? Figure out how you're going to adjust their campaign and pitch it to them. And so, get them excited about next year's campaign. And so if we're going to run through an example of the kind of conversation you should have with your client, and this should be done over a screen share with your face showing, right? Turn your video on, have face-to-face with your client, make sure their video is on, make sure they're sitting at a computer and focused, because this is important. This is what's going to get that client to stick with you for another year, okay? Make sure that you take it seriously. Don't just send a Loom, or definitely don't send an email. That's not going to go well. So this is the kind of conversation I would have with the client after I went through all of those items. And by the way, we're going to go through the churn prevention checklist in a minute, which is actually an actionable list that you can go through to make sure that all of your clients are in good shape. But to start, let's just talk about the conversation that I would have with your client. So you went through this, you have a very good understanding of your strategy, what they're doing right, what they're not doing. In this case, they're not giving us images, they're not getting reviews, they're clearly not using our review link. We haven't turned on social media, they don't have citations, they're not using the videos, right? This is the kind of conversation that I would have with this business. Hey, John, thanks for taking a few minutes to go over your campaign with me. I'd like to use this time to share what we've been up to and what I plan on adding to your campaign soon to help boost results. There are a few issues that I recently found on your Google business profile. For example, Google deleted all your services. We've re-added them back. I also saw some bad reviews and flagged them with Google. Hopefully they'll take them down. Google deletes things regularly, but I often check to make sure that we fix it so that it doesn't negatively impact your results. One thing that's important that I want to talk to you about is that we're finding that having real photos about businesses is making a difference. And you're not able to give us enough photos. Would it be helpful if I sent over a photographer to get some pictures of you, doing your job in your office or your service van, whatever it might be? If you want, I can send one over through Snapper or find one on Thumbtack. And I can help cover the cost for you, because I really think it's important, and we'll then be able to reuse those images for your website and other marketing initiatives that we do together. And since I want to help you get more customers faster, I'm going to start offering you a few more things at no cost, because I really just want to see you get more customers. The first thing I'm going to do is start posting to your Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn pages. Right now, we're only sending our Google business posts to Google, but I think that it's going to help if we send them to your socials as well. If you're okay with that, I'm going to send you a link that will allow you to easily give me access to those profiles. So here, let me send you those links now in the chat. Okay, and then once they connect it, By the way, we can also customize your review request link. I don't know if you love the current design, but if you don't, what we can do is change it so that, do you prefer stars or do you want it to be thumbs up, thumbs down, or emojis? And also, like, I don't know, do you have any preference for what it says here? Because I can also make these changes for you. It just takes a little bit of time, but it's worth doing it if you want it to better match your brand. Just let me know. By the way, something that I want to do to help you get reviews, because I see that you're struggling, is I'm going to send you a free NFC review card. That all you need to do is when you're in front of your customers, just ask them to tap their phone to it. Once they tap their phone, it's going to bring up your review tool on their phone, and they can very easily leave you reviews. I'm not going to charge anything for it. I just want you to use it. It should come to you in the next 5 business days. It's going to be in a plain white envelope, just sent via USPS. Also, on the topic of customization, since that's what we're talking about, do you have any requests around the content and how we're writing it? Do you like how we're replying to your reviews, or do you want us to be a little more casual in how we write posts? Just let me know, because I really want to make sure the content matches your brand and is saying things that you'd be happy with. So yeah, just let me know your feedback, and I'm more than happy to adapt and make sure that the writers know to adapt to follow whatever it is that you want. So actually, what I want to do now is shift gears and do some things that will optimize your website real fast. I have these widgets that I want to put on your website because they're going to help put more recent and media-rich information on your website, which should keep people on your website longer. And just so you know, Google pays attention to how long someone stays on your website after they go to it. And so if someone's searching for plumber in Chicago, and they click on your Google profile, then over to your website, and then they leave your website right away because there's nothing to do on it, you're probably not going to rank as well for that keyword next time someone searches for it. So what I want to do is show you the widgets that I can give you. The first is going to be the review widget. So we can actually put your 5-star reviews on your website. We can do a banner like this, or a carousel. And we just need to install this code on your website wherever you want it to appear. The other widget we can give you is the image gallery. So we can take all the images that you're giving us, and we can put them on your website so that people can see them. And this will update regularly on its own as you give us more images. So you don't need to worry about it. And this will also keep people on your website for longer. We also can put all of your recent Google business posts on your website. So it looks like a recent blog section. And again, we just need to put this code, where we want them to appear. And that's it. And then there's 2 other things that I want to give you that will help you with AI search results as well. And so the first is a set of FAQs. And so what we're going to do is write a bunch of FAQs and put them on your website where we want them to show on the bottom of the homepage. And the reason that these are important is because Google and AI systems will learn about a business by reading FAQ or Q&A styled structured information. And so we're going to generate a handful now and put them on your website. And then every week or 2 or every day, whatever you want to do, we can add a new one to your website. So that we're just constantly giving AI and Google more information to learn about your business. Okay. And again, we can fully customize this one, so we can make sure the text in the background and the borders all match your website's design. No problem there. We just have to put this code where you want it to appear on your website, which again should be the bottom of that homepage. The next thing that I want to do, and this is very important for traditional website SEO and AI, it's probably the most important thing you can do for AI search results right now, is make sure that you have proper schema in the head section of your website. So I generated this extremely customized and detailed code that I need to put on your website. It only take me about a minute to do, or I can send to you and you can do it. And basically, it gives Google and AI crawlers everything it needs to know about your business, so that they can show you in snippets. Because oftentimes, when AI like ChatGPT is showing results, they're not even showing information they learned; they're just showing snippets from the schema, right? So it's really important that we have really strong schema in the head section of your website. Okay, so let's make sure that we get those in place very quickly. And just so you know, since we started working together, like, yes, ChatGPT started becoming more popular, and maybe like a very small percentage of people are looking for local business on it. But I think that's going to grow, which is why I'm investing in this strategy already without, I'm not going to charge you anything for this. But since then, Google Business Profiles have become even more important. Google now uses Google Business Profiles to show local businesses on Google Search, Google Maps, Gemini, AI mode, and AI overviews. And on top of that, companies like Tesla started using Google Business Profile data in their own business search on their GPS. So like, you'll see your reviews in Teslas now from Google. And so like, you might have seen in the last report I sent you that we're actually already showing you how well you're ranking on the major AI platforms. So if you look at the keywords, you can see, if there's a number next to it, that means that you showed up on that LLM. And so like, I'm really starting to do more and more to help you with LLMs, but not forget that Google Maps is still by far the most important platform to rank your business on. And hey, you know what? While I have you, I actually want to show you this insane success story that I got for one of my clients. So here, look, this is a spa. Look, they weren't really ranking that far out when they started, and now they're in the top 10 pretty much everywhere. This Italian restaurant, they weren't ranking except for just if you're standing on top of them, and now they're crushing it in the whole northern part of the city. There's a salon that was ranking very poorly, and now they're in the top 3, like in a huge part of their target area. And you can just show tons of different examples, and I'm really excited to get you these same results. It's just going to take a little more time. Once we start getting those reviews consistent, and also you start giving us more images, we should be able to get you these same results. And, I'm really excited about these changes that we're making to your campaign and the new tools that we're going to be giving you, today, and then some more in January, because that's really what's getting the most results. And so I know we've been doing great already, but like, I'm just going to keep investing more and more into your strategy. And I also just want to take a moment to thank you from the bottom of my heart. I mean, I'm a founder, a business owner, just like you. And one of my favorite parts about running my own business is that I get to work with other business owners that I actually like. That's such a difference from when I worked in corporate America. And so thank you for giving me that opportunity. And unless you have any questions, I'll be in touch soon with next steps when they're ready. How's that all sound? And scene. So that's the call flow that you should go through. Right? Walk through those different phases, make sure you're layering more and more value for them. And remember, this isn't about ever manipulating or tricking a business owner. You're merely just reselling them on the importance of what they originally bought, because they might have lost hope along the way, or lost conviction, or lost interest, or just purely forgot what it is that you're doing. And so a big part of what you're doing is just educating them, because ultimately every business owner can do all this stuff themselves with a little bit of time and money and effort and knowledge. But they're really paying you for your expertise and staying on top of the trends for them. So you need to make sure that you're conveying to them that you are that expert that stays on top of these trends. Okay. So the next thing that I want to do is run through this holiday prevention checklist with you. So we put this together. It's also linked below, and it is a step-by-step guide of what you should go through. So just copy these over to add for each client that you have, put in, their client name up here so you know who it is, and then walk through each of these step by step. So enable all page features. And if you hover over this, you can see the instructions on how to do this. So this is on the optimization tab and the automations tab. Go through each of these, and I'm going to just point out the ones that I think are going to move the needle the most and get your clients the most excited. This enable what's new alert. This is something that we added a few months ago, but very few people have actually turned on. The way it works is you go to account manager, and you turn it on if it wasn't already, and you set how often you want it to email your client. I'm going to set it to every 14 days. You'll put in your client's email address here, and then you'll have it go to you for approval. And the way this works is every now 14 days, it's going to email my client, and it's going to say, hey, what's new with your business? And actually, let me show you what this message looks like. So if you're in the agency partner program, you can customize these messages fully. So let me just go to this, the what's new request. So it's going to say, hi client, is there anything new at business name I can post about? Please click the button to get ideas for things that may have changed or provide your own update. It's important that we give Google real updates on your business from time to time. And then they click give update, and it brings them to a screen that helps them kind of get ideas for what changed so they can let you know. Page then writes content immediately and sends it to you for approval to post. Super easy for you, and it gives your clients a lot of value and will help your clients rank better because it's just putting out more topical, helpful information. So definitely go and turn that on for every single one of your clients. And as you go through these, check them off so you can see the percentage that you completed. Next is, make sure that you get as many of these widgets installed as possible. The schema is very important. Okay, let's talk about publishing videos to YouTube. Almost no local businesses publish videos to YouTube. So if you just have one up there for your client, they're going to stand out. They'll get leads from YouTube. YouTube's the second largest search engine behind Google. And it'll also bring some SEO juice to their Google profile and to their website. So if you go to automation and automate videos, you definitely should have Google Business Profiles already enabled, right? Have these go to the Google profile. It's appeasing Google and it's helping with rankings. But then YouTube is so important. And if your client doesn't have a channel, create a channel for them and say, hey, I create a YouTube channel for you. I'm going to start to publish videos to it because I think it's really helpful. Or if you don't want to do that, then create your own agency a channel. So if your agency is ABC Agency, make it ABC Agency Small Business Spotlight. And then just connect up all of your clients' page video generations to that one channel. And the reason for that is because Page is going to regularly make videos and reference their website, their Google business profile, and all the other information that's going to help them all around. And so if your client doesn't want to make a channel and you don't want to make a dedicated channel for them, just make a single channel and have all of your clients' videos go to it starting today, right? This is also one of those things where making videos is usually very time intensive, and it's going to be impressive to your clients that you went that extra mile since they're not paying you for that, right? I'd guess 99% of you did not charge your clients for video creation. So this is a freebie. Okay. Just make sure that you start doing it. And if you have access to their YouTube, hit connect. And just like all of our other socials, you can click this invite link and send them an option to automatically connect to your white label version of Page without having to, mess around with getting access to their profile. Okay. Make sure you have access to all their socials, either directly or using those links, and give them the BCC Magic link to make it easier for them to ask customers for reviews and automatically follow up with it. Again, this feature is super powerful. It sends it from your client's own Gmail or Google Workspace email and will follow up with customers that didn't leave reviews. It's a really cool add-on you can give them. Definitely do it before the end of this year. Send them a review NFC card if you want to. Show them the AI visibility. Offer the citations add-on because it can help with AI results, which is something that a lot of small businesses are interested in right now. And then again, of course, on that call, resell them on the importance of Google Business Profile Management, show them success stories, customize the review tool and how Page creates content for them, teach them some fun things with a review link and how it can track employee names, and then tease next year's plans to get them excited about the future with you so that they're not likely to say, you know what, I think we're going to try someone else. And then once you've had this conversation, set it to defended and move on to the next client. You want to make sure that all of your clients are at 100%. Okay, that's how you'll know that they are very likely to stick with you because you did absolutely everything correct. Okay, the third and final resource that we're giving you as part of your holiday churn survival guide is how to fix churn when it strikes. Because let's be real, some clients are just going to cancel, right? There might be nothing you can do to say they just simply don't have the budget. Their friend loves their marketing person. Their brother just learned digital marketing. Their cousin had some suggestions, right? It just happens. But there are some things you can do to make sure that it impacts your agency as little as possible. So we're going to go over some of the strategies to fix churn when it strikes. The first is try to sell them on a downgraded plan, right? So to understand which one's going to make sense, you're going to want to ask them hey, why? And if they say, the budget's tight, what you can do is say, okay, here's the deal. I don't want you to lose your rankings. So what I'm going to do is I'll keep optimizing it, but I'll give you half off for the next 6 months, but I can only afford to post half as regularly. If you're okay with that, then I can drop your pricing, to half right now, because that's where the majority of the cost comes from. Or if you need to save money, I can pause all the optimization stuff, but just keep your review tools live. And, that's only going to be $100 a month or $80 a month. I can even mail you an NFC card to make it easier to get reviews, and I'll cover that cost, right? Go into like cost saving mode for them if cost is the issue. The next is a loyalty win back offer. So this would be something like, hey, like if you're canceling because you're not happy with the results, let me do this. I'm going to keep doing everything I'm doing. I'm also going to optimize your AI FAQ schema and start uploading videos to YouTube for your business completely free of charge for 3 months. We can then look at the value that created at the end of 3 months and figure out if it makes sense to keep doing it or not. But like, I really want to help you. So let me invest a little more to see if I can get you better results. You could also say, hey, right now I'm posting every 4 days. Let me change that to post every single day. And part of the reason why we don't charge for, increased frequency or more features is because we want you to have every tool in your arsenal to add more value to your clients ongoing and save them when they try to churn. So like every time you see our videos or announcements where we put out a new feature, think about how you can use that to your advantage to offer more value to your clients. And you don't always need to charge for it. That's why we do not charge for the new features. For those of you that have been using Page since Q2 of 2024, that for the same $99 a month, you are getting like 10 times the amount of value. Okay, the next is show them what they'll lose. So reminding them really, how important Google business profiles are and that GDP rankings will drop usually within a month or two if they do stop optimizing them. So like, look, it's really going to hurt your business if you do this. And this one you usually need to play in conjunction with other strategies. Next, switch their goal. So just ask them, hey, out of curiosity, what's not working for you right now? And it might actually be that you're offering them service A, which solves a problem that they don't really have. And maybe their real issue is over here, but you don't know that. So for example, maybe they're doing a great job ranking, but they feel like they're not getting enough reviews. Right, that would be a way for you to then jump into the hold on, let me go all in and help you with reviews. Like I can do that. Or maybe they don't really care about organic and they want paid ads. Right, that's not our wheelhouse. But you could say, you know what, I know how to do ads. Like let me reallocate the budget from your local to your ads. I wouldn't suggest it, but you can do it. All right, the next is the comeback credit. When somebody leaves, they might go talk to other agencies. What you can do is say, hey, if you come back in the next 90 days, I'll give you 50% off the first 3 months, or I'll waive the setup fee. Just something that gives them kind of like my door is still open. Please, I hope you work with me again when you have the budget. That way they're not like, let me go see what else is out there. Next is turn off, quote unquote, autopilot. So this is changing the strategy 100% of what you're doing. Kind of take Page off autopilot and go and reset them up, change their keywords, change their audit area. Oftentimes we see the audit area is just way too big, right? If you set it to over 9.75 by 9.75 miles, unless your client is in the middle of nowhere, that is way too big of an area. You should probably shrink it down. And most likely immediately you're going to see there's actually a whole lot more green than you thought. And what you need to do to make this effective is build these into your offboarding flow. This can't be something that you're like fumbling around with as they're trying to cancel. You need to know which ones you're going to go with before they cancel so that you can very naturally just pitch this, right? Because if they sense the nervousness in your voice, it probably won't work that well. And what I want to mention is that nothing that we're talking about is about manipulating business owners. You're really just guiding them to the thing that's going to help their business the most. And if you have conviction in what you're doing, then that should be very easy for you to do. So again, you have all of these resources that we've reviewed together. Everything is completely detailed in these guides. So take the time to read through them. I put a lot of effort into adding a lot of detail here so you can see exactly what you should do, how you should say things and phrase things, your options to help them with getting more reviews and things like that. So take the time to read through this. read through the guide to how to fix churn when it strikes so that you have it in your back pocket, and go through the checklist with every single one of your clients to make sure they're in as good of shape as possible. And if you found this webinar helpful, then please subscribe to the channel and hit the like button, put your comments below, and I'll be happy to answer them. And if this gets good feedback, then I will create more of these regularly. And if you're not yet part of our agency partner program, then please check it out. It's where we spend a lot of time talking with agency owners to do what we can to learn about what we can do to help them. So guys, thank you so much for watching this. I really appreciate it and hope that together we can get your agency through next year, not just with all of your existing clients intact, but you with a great foundation to explode your agency in 2026. Thank you.